The Cindy Davis Show starts now. Thank you for tuning in to The Cindy Davis Show. My guest today is known for his sultry vocals, for hits like Take Me, I'm Yours, and You Are My Starship, and Wide Receiver. Help me welcome to the show, Grammy-nominated, Michael Henderson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Now, Michael, how tall are you? You are tall.
Well, I'm 6'6".
Wow, 6'6".
Yes.
You would never know. I never knew that until I met you tonight. Okay, so you got your start with Miles Davis, way back with Miles Davis, is that correct?
Well, actually, I got my start with the Fantastic Four and the Detroit Emeralds and groups like that in the early years with Motown.
Oh,
and,
Motown?
Yeah, I started with Detroit Emeralds, Fantastic Four, the Spinners, the Four Tops, the Supremes.
You started with, my goodness.
Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye.
Okay, well, take me way
Aretha
back.
Franklin.
The list goes on.
Right. Yeah, that's okay.
Take me back to when...
A lot of people don't know.
Exactly, and that's why we do shows like this, to inform people about our people that we love to hear. So take me back, though, to, you were born where?
Yazoo City, Mississippi.
Mississippi, yeah. And did you teach yourself to play bass?
Yeah, I'm self-taught.
How did you do that without internet?
Well, I was looking for a way out of, like most people, of the neighborhood because it wasn't conducive to my health being there. And so I started learning the instrument to help me to achieve my goal.
How did you, was the bass guitar given to you as a gift? Or how did you obtain
I enjoyed listening to the Funk Brothers at the time. Most people are just now knowing who the Funk Brothers are.
Yeah.
The Funk Brothers are James Jamerson and Earl Van Dyke and Eddie Willis and all those guys. I listened to James Jamerson, who was the bass player on most of the Motown records, and I copied his style.
Yeah.
And that's how I started playing bass. From listening to him, then I started doing sessions with that he didn't do. I did the sessions, and that so on and so forth.
Yeah. What was it like working with Miles Davis?
Well, it was fantastic. It was I'd been working with Stevie Wonder when I was like 18, 17, and just before getting with Miles, Miles came to the show I did with Stevie Wonder. And he was, well, the thing was that he said up to Stevie, I'm taking your bass player. And so that's,
Right.
And so basically about maybe a couple of months after, I started working with Miles Davis.
Really?
And I did some 40 albums with him.
You started when you were 13, is that right?
Right.
How did you get discovered? I mean...
Well, I was very fortunate.
Because at 13 years old in Mississippi, for a young African-American boy...
Well, my mother and father actually moved to Detroit, Michigan when I was 1 year old.
Oh, I see. I see.
And so being in Detroit, I mean, Aretha Franklin lived down the street. Stevie Wonder lived around the block.
Did you live down the street from them?
Yeah, everybody lived around the corner from everybody else. Marvin Gaye lived down there, and the originals, and Berry Gordy lived over. So everybody lived in a close proximity.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's
you
awesome.
either
either you had it or you didn't.
You either had it or you didn't.
Yeah, and being around that group, that gave you an advantage, without a doubt.
Yes. Without
a doubt. And is Michael Henderson your stage name, or is that your
That's
name?
My name.
That is your name.
That is my name. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I love Michael Henderson's music. And when we come back, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more with Michael Henderson. I'm yours.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Did you know that getting up and getting active for just 60 minutes a day is all it takes to help you get stronger, look better, and feel great?
Or that fresh fruits and veggies aren't just healthier and crunchier, they can taste better too?
Eating better and getting more active is easier than you think.
Yeah! Keep watching for some fun and easy ways to discover the magic of healthy living in your life.
America.
Let's get healthy together!
I took a trip to Elkhart, Indiana today. Elkhart's a place that has lost jobs faster than anywhere else in America. The people who've lost them have no idea what to do or who to turn to. In fact, local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand.
And thank you for tuning in to The Cindy Davis Show. And I'm back. I'm talking with the fabulous, legendary Michael Henderson.
Thank you, thank you.
What was your first hit?
Well, the first hit was with Norman Connors. I wrote a song. Norman wanted me to play on his album, and I suggested that, hey, do one of my songs, and I, do the album. And so he heard Valentine Love.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we can record it, but we have to get somebody to sing it because I don't sing.
Yeah.
So we recorded the record in San Francisco, did the track, and he says, well, do a demo. I said, well, okay, well, I don't know exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So I did the demo with a lead vocal, and then Jean Carn overdubbed her part. I did the lead vocal and in hopes that somebody else would come and sing it.
Oh, okay.
Well, they kept my voice. And that was the first hit.
Wow.
I didn't intend for them.
And what's the name of the hit? What was
It was
the name?
Valentine Love.
Valentine Love.
Yeah, that was the first one.
And that is an awesome hit.
Yeah, well,
That is awesome.
And then we did the next one was with Phyllis Hyman. I wrote "We Both Need Each Other."
Yeah.
And of course,
How did Valentine Love, your first hit, change your life? How did it?
Well, at the barbecue, all of a sudden I was on the radio instead of everybody else on the radio.
Right, right.
So it was the picnic turned to me instead of always listening to somebody else. We were playing basketball and swimming like everybody else and throwing backyard parties. Now all of a sudden, guess who's on the radio? And that's what happened. Number one.
Number one hit. And so you started to tour after that, or was
not
it some
really.
time after?
Not until about 1977, 1978, I started to tour.
Why didn't you want to sing? You didn't realize that you had a nice voice?
I had a teacher that told me when I was very young in elementary that I shouldn't attempt singing because I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah, he said, you'll never make it as a singer. So I didn't do it. I stopped singing. That's why I continued playing bass.
Right.
And producing and writing songs for other people.
And you mentioned Phyllis Hyman. Were you all a couple? Were you a couple?
No.
Oh, you and Phyllis Hyman
We're
were
just
not
good
a couple.
friends.
Very good friends.
Norman Connors introduced me to Phyllis Hyman. And he wanted to do something with her because he said, you got to meet this young lady. And I said, oh, okay. And when she came in the room, I said, I said, oh wow, if she could sing, it's on.
Yeah.
And she started singing and it was all over.
Wow.
And so I said, well, listen, if she's not on the album, I'm not doing the album. So I wrote a song, We Both Need Each Other, and it went top 10 for us. That's our first duet.
Okay. Okay. How do you feel about when you first heard about her death, and where were you when you first heard about her death, Phyllis Hyman?
Well, it was pretty much like Whitney Houston now.
Oh, yeah.
I was just at home, like a lot of other people, just enjoying life and living, and all of a sudden you hear something. But sometimes you know things are going on with people.
Yeah.
And you can't intervene. You don't know. And they're not really listening. They're not really listening to you. You know?
So you tried to reach out to Phyllis
Well,
Hyman in some areas?
Well, I was unable to do that, but other people were trying to. I was kind of out of the scene myself. You know, I wasn't. You know, in this business, a lot of times when you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
Yeah.
You know, people think that you're not doing well or whatever. You know, if they don't see you, you know. But, you know, they have to see you, then they think that you're doing something.
Okay. Okay.
You know, yeah. But just because they're seeing you doesn't mean you're okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's true, because you can always put on a smile.
Right.
You can always put on a smile.
Right.
So, speaking of the most recent passings that we've had, what are your thoughts about Don Cornelius and Whitney Houston?
Well, that's another thing. I mean, you see people and you think that they're okay.
Yeah.
You know, and then you hear some rumblings, and it's just everybody has a choice to make. You know, either you're going to stay focused on what you're going to do, or you're going to choose this other path.
Right.
And you know, sometimes we don't appreciate the gifts that we have, that God has blessed us with, and then they get taken away from you.
Right.
You know, because you get on the dark side.
Okay.
You know, you get on that dark side.
Get on the dark side. That's a different path.
That's a different path, and nobody can help you but you.
I see.
No one can help you but you. You know, you have to say, no, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
You know, and everybody doesn't have that strong constitution. You know.
How do you keep level? How do you keep grounded? You've been around for many years now, and you're still touring, and you're still. How are you staying grounded? How do you keep from going to the dark side?
Well, I put God first. I keep God first. And then I realize that I'm but a pebble in the scheme of things.
Yes.
And I keep it there.
Okay.
And a lot of times you got to be careful what you wish for. What is success really? Is it being number one?
Okay.
Or is it being the person that is number 10 or 2 that manages to keep everything without losing themselves, their soul, their spirit, to give it up for the number 1 spot? Well, a lot of people, say for instance, you don't hear a lot about Berry Gordy. You don't hear about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. You don't hear a lot about Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. Well, these are the people that wrote the songs for most of the stars, but they're still here.
Right, right.
So there's some magic going on.
Something on the dark side that's going on?
That they understand that the stars that they produce weren't able to grasp.
So you're able to just keep everything in perspective?
You're just, well, not everything. Sometimes I'm a little crazy. Everybody gets a little crazy, but you have to be able to pull back. You know, I'm no saint, you know.
Oh, yeah,
but you have to be able to pull back and say, hey, this could happen to me too. Right.
And so what are your thoughts about Don Cornelius? Were you on Soul Train?
Yeah, I did Soul Train about 3 or 4 times, and he was a great guy. And if it wasn't for Don Cornelius, a lot of us would have stayed on the Chitlin circuit and never been discovered.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he made it possible for all of us to come up of the shadows.
Right.
And come on television, where other people wouldn't give us the break.
You were nominated for a Grammy for playing bass with Miles Davis, is that correct?
Well, yeah, I was nominated for the Jack Johnson album.
Oh, okay.
Which was the black fighter, the great fighter, Jack Johnson, and I was nominated for Miles from India album for bass playing. Yeah, two of those. And just recently, I don't know if you know this or not, the Marvin Gaye album, the 40th anniversary of What's Going On, just came out. Well, I wrote 9 of those songs with Marvin Gaye.
Oh,
that just
awesome.
came out. That's out right now.
Oh, awesome. No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you worked with Marvin Gaye, but you worked with some of everyone.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Stevie Wonder?
Well, Stevie Wonder is just unbelievable. I mean, he's just a genius, you know. I mean, it was a great experience working with him. He's like no other, you know. I really learned a lot working with Stevie Wonder.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk more when we come back, and we'll be right back with Michael Henderson. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name's CJ. A few years ago, my father became seriously ill. I did what I could do before he passed, but it took its toll. I lost my job, my house. I'm getting back on my feet, but I don't know when there'll be food on the table. How'd I do, CJ?
We could be twins.
Well, cousins, maybe.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
I got no pulse, we're losing him.
Sergeant, he's in VFib.
Shock him.
Drives that road all the time. Just had a few drinks. Just can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear.
You just buzzed.
Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right, this isn't happening. He'll be fine.
I feel good.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving.
Clear.
Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shock him.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
Thank you for tuning in to The Cindy Davis Show, and welcome back. And I'm still talking with Michael Henderson, the hit maker for many artists. I want to ask you, Michael, what do you like to do for leisure, and what are the places you like to travel?
Well, I like to fish and stuff like that, and I like to just enjoy nature and the gifts that we have. Smell that smelling the roses and all of that.
Got to.
I'm into it.
He said he's into smelling those roses.
I smell them as often as I can.
Life teaches you after a while that you got to stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
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 What are your favorite places to travel?
Well, I like just being on the road and being out and going here and going there. I'd love all of what the world has to offer. I just, end up everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's in Europe or here in the States.
It's like the world is your playground, right?
Yes.
That must be awesome.
Yes.
Any particular foods you like to eat?
All.
See
but I
food
can't.
and eat it.
But I can't. But I can't. I love it all, but I take it down.
You have to.
I just eat this, and I like to cook.
Yeah.
So I make sure I don't put the wrong things in me anymore.
Right. Yeah. They said the best thing to do is to do your own cooking.
Yeah.
These
protein,
days, because
vegetables.
Yeah.
And, you want to try to stay around as long as you can.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
To keep
so I can
on.
come here and talk with you.
I love it too.
And be here in the next few years.
I love it. And I would love to have you back. Michael, let me ask you. I'm gonna throw some years out at you. I'm gonna throw out some years, and you tell me what you were doing or some life events or what you remember about that year. 1975.
Well, I was with Miles Davis in Japan, Tokyo, Japan, playing, doing a Gartha album. We did 2 albums, recorded them that year, that day.
Wow.
We recorded 2 albums, 1 show in the day and 1 show in the evening. And they were put out, Agartha and Pangea.
1984.
1984, I was getting ready to sign a deal with EMI Records, Neil Portnow, who's the head of the Grammys right now. And I released my album in 1986, which was Bedtime Stories.
Okay. 1989. Anything come to mind?
Well, the record was out and it didn't do so good.
Oh.
No, I'm just
What about 2000?
2000, hip-hop was coming on strong, and I was just finding out about the internet and starting to learn about, hey, download, upload. You know, this is the way to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to go these days.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Are you, are they thinking about doing an unsung episode about you?
I don't know.
You don't?
I don't know if I'm unsung yet because I'm getting ready to go. I'm just getting ready to go back right now. I feel like I'm just getting started.
Awesome.
I feel
awesome.
like now
all you have accomplished, you feel like you just
feel
getting
like
started.
that was just to get me ready for what I'm about to do.
And that's the way you should approach life.
Right.
That is success.
So I think Unsung is a great series. Some of my friends are on there, and but I feel as though all of the first years was a warm up to what's about to happen.
To what's about to happen.
Yeah.
What can we expect from Michael Henderson at this time of your life, in your career?
Well, I'm in recording right now.
Are you?
So yes,
well, awesome.
I have several songs together, and I'm coming with something else. But you know, different movies, DVDs, all of that sort of stuff. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, clothing lines. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows,
you know,
right? The sky's the limit, right?
The sky's the limit. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do.
That's right.
You're big enough to do. You know.
That's right. That's right. Let's. What musician? And you may have answered this earlier on, but let me ask you this: what do you think that you would be doing had you not become a musician? Do you ever think about...
Maybe a police detective.
A police detective?
A detective or something.
Really?
Yeah, I like, you know, sleuth stuff, you know, like investigation and...
CSI and that kind of stuff.
I like all of that kind of stuff.
All that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. We're gonna go to, there was a few questions from your fans on Facebook, and I just asked you one.
Okay.
And we probably have already covered it, but this one is coming from Robert Ozon on your Facebook, and he said, what was your motivation for such music and songs? What was, with all the musicians going on the dark side, and what was your motivation to keep going and to keep writing those fantastic hits?
Well, I always believe the little boy inside of me is still there. The one that always appreciates a beautiful woman, great things happening, and it's still in me.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I enjoy, and I still have that little kid inside me.
Oh, wow.
That enjoys all of that. That's what keeps me going.
That's what keeps
you going.
It's all
new to me all the time.
Always. Oh, that's awesome.
So I never do the same thing twice because it's always new to me. The easiest thing for me to have done was to record songs that were just like the other ones. You know, just to be, you know, to do, so people would know who you were every time your record came out.
Oh,
but I instead made, if you notice, every song is different.
Every song is different. It is. And your voice is very distinctive.
Yeah, every song is different. And I did that on purpose because I like new things all the time.
When you did Wide Receiver, what was the story behind Wide Receiver? I love Wide Receiver.
Well, Wide Receiver is just about the Houston Oilers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I watched the game, and they got robbed. The Steelers got robbed. So I wrote the song about that. I put both my feet down, and still I didn't get the point. And the referee must have been smoking a joint. And that's it. And, you know, the commercial, sometimes you feel like a nut.
And sometimes you don't.
And then the plays are like Hit Me From the Rear, or 40 Nickel Double Sting is a play, football play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hit Me From the Rear. That's the ball
I don't know too
coming.
much about football. Okay.
The ball is coming, you know, when you get down like this. Hit me from the rear. They throw the ball. It's a 40 nickel double sting. It was a play.
Oh,
so I put it in the song.
Put it in the song. That song was just very unique. Very unique. And it got a funky bass to it.
Yeah. It was just about the Houston Oilers. You hear Bum Phillips.
Bum
Last time. Yeah.
And who's doing that voice?
That's me.
That's you doing all that?
Yeah, I'm doing all the voices.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Except for the female voice. Except for the female voices. I didn't do those.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has been a real pleasure having you on the show, Michael.
Well, thank you.
And I sure
Thank you.
hope I get an opportunity to talk to you again.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And I want to thank you for watching The Cindy Davis Show. Until next time, God bless.
All righty.
It's the all-new Cindy Davis Show, a variety talk show that is fun, entertaining, and enlightening, with co-hosts Divey Davis Around Town and a new segment, The World According to Chatty Matty. Who said that? And lots more interviews. Like me on Facebook at facebook.com/The Cindy Davis Show and become a fan with benefits. Or go to the website at www.thecindydavisshow.com.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextsstopwrecks.org.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a